All right, let's talk about credit scores. That magical number that feels like it holds the keys to your entire financial kingdom. You need good credit to buy a house, lease a car, sometimes even get certain jobs. And if your credit score is looking a bit anemic, well, you might be tempted to call in the professionals, which is fair enough. But here's the thing. The credit repair industry, it's like the Wild West out there, full of snake oil salesmen and charming grifters just waiting to take advantage of people at their most vulnerable. That's why we're diving headfirst into the murky, often baffling world of credit repair scams. We're going to arm you with the knowledge you need to spot these scams from a mile away. Because credit repair can be a daunting task, but it's important to be aware of the scams out there that can make things even worse. Over the next few minutes, we'll be exposing the most common tricks these shady operators use, so you can protect yourself and your hard-earned money. Think of this as a public service announcement, but instead of a catchy jingle and a talking cartoon animal, you've got me, your vaguely exasperated guide to not getting completely screwed. So buckle up, because things are about to get financially shady. Let's start with a classic, the advance fee scam. Now this one is about as subtle as a brick to the wallet, but people fall for it every day. These companies, and I use the term loosely, will demand payment up front before they lift a finger to help you. They'll promise you the moon and the stars, a perfect credit score, a lifetime supply of debt forgiveness, maybe even a unicorn that poops out gold doubloons. But here's the catch. Once they've got your money, they're gone, vanished into thin air, leaving you with nothing but an emptier bank account and a credit score that's still stuck in the doldrums. Legitimate credit repair companies, and yes, those do exist, will never ever ask for payment before they've actually done any work. They're legally required to provide you with a written contract outlining your rights and their services before they take a single cent from you. Think of it this way. If a stranger walked up to you on the street and said, "Hey, give me all your money and I'll totally improve your life, I promise," would you do it? Hopefully not. You'd probably call the police or maybe just slowly back away while making direct eye contact. So, why would you trust a company that operates on the same principle? Don't fall for the allure of instant gratification. Credit repair takes time and effort, and anyone who tells you otherwise is likely trying to pull a fast one. Remember, if a deal sounds too good to be true, it probably is, especially when it comes to something as important as your credit. Next up on our whirlwind tour of credit repair nightmares, identity theft scams. Now this one should send shivers down your spine, because it's not just your credit score at stake here, it's your entire identity. Some companies, and again, I'm using that term very generously, will offer to create a brand new credit identity for you. They'll promise you a fresh start, a chance to wipe the slate clean and pretend those regrettable financial decisions never happened. Sounds tempting, right? Like hitting the reset button on your credit history? But here's the thing. Creating a new credit identity is illegal. Like, seriously illegal. And the way they often do it is by using someone else's social security number or other personal information, which is about as far from okay as you can get. They're essentially turning you into a financial phantom, living a double life with someone else's credit history. And what happens when the real owner of that social security number discovers what's going on? Let's just say it won't be pretty. You'll be the one facing the consequences, dealing with the legal fallout and the credit carnage left behind. This isn't a victimless crime, folks. It's identity theft, plain and simple, and you could end up facing serious legal repercussions. So, if anyone, and I mean anyone, suggests creating a new credit identity for you, run. Run like the wind, and then report them to the authorities. Because trust me, the last thing you need is to add identity theft to your list of financial woes. Chapter 3. Let's move on to a little something called credit piggybacking. Now this one might sound kind of adorable, like you're just hitching a ride on someone else's good credit. But trust me, it's about as fun as getting kicked in the teeth by a donkey wearing tap shoes. Here's how it works. You pay a fee to be added as an authorized user to someone else's credit account. The idea is that their good credit history will rub off on you, boosting your score by association. And while it's technically not illegal to add someone as an authorized user to your credit account, the way these scams operate often skirts the lines of legality. First of all, there's no guarantee it will actually work. Credit scoring models are complex, and simply being an authorized user doesn't automatically mean your score will skyrocket. Second, you're basically putting your financial fate in the hands of a stranger. What if they rack up a ton of debt on that account? Guess who's on the hook for it? That's right, you are. And even if it does work temporarily, it's not a sustainable solution. Creditors are getting wise to this trick, and they're looking for more than just a quick fix. So, before you jump on the credit piggybacking bandwagon, remember this. You're essentially renting someone else's credit history, and it can be snatched away from you just as easily. Focus on building your own credit the right way, even if it takes a little longer. It's like the old saying goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll spend the rest of his life wondering why you didn't just give him more fish. Okay, that's not how the saying goes, but you get the point. Chapter 4. Now let's talk about the granddaddy of them all, fake credit repair services. This is where things get really insidious because these companies prey on people's desperation and lack of knowledge about how credit reporting actually works. They'll make all sorts of outlandish claims like being able to erase negative information from your credit report, even if it's accurate. They'll promise you the impossible. Bankruptcies vanished, late payments magically disappeared, collections accounts wiped clean as a whistle. They'll even go as far as claiming to have a secret relationship with the credit bureaus, like they're in some kind of credit reporting Illuminati. But here's the cold, hard truth. No one, and I mean no one, can remove accurate information from your credit report. Not even the credit bureaus themselves. It's the law. These companies are essentially selling you a fantasy, a world where financial mistakes simply disappear with a snap of their fingers. And they're charging you a hefty fee for the privilege. They might send out a bunch of frivolous disputes to the credit bureaus, hoping something sticks. Or they'll bombard you with official-looking documents and legal jargon, making it seem like they're doing something legitimate. Don't be fooled by the smoke and mirrors. If a company claims they can erase accurate negative information from your credit report, they're lying, plain and simple. They're taking advantage of your vulnerability, and they're probably laughing all the way to the bank while they do it. Remember, there's no quick fix when it comes to credit repair. It takes time, effort, and a healthy dose of reality. Chapter 5. And finally, no discussion of credit repair scams would be complete without mentioning phishing scams. Because let's face it, scammers love nothing more than a good old-fashioned phishing expedition. These days, they're not just lurking in your inbox, they're sliding into your DMs, popping up in your social media feeds, and even texting you with offers you can't refuse. They might pretend to be from a legitimate credit repair company, a government agency, or even your bank. They'll use official-looking logos, urgent language, and tempting offers to trick you into giving up your personal information. They might ask for your social security number, your bank account details, or even your mother's maiden name. And once they have that information, well, let's just say it's not going to end well for you. So how can you protect yourself from these digital bottom feeders? First, be wary of any unsolicited emails, messages, or texts, especially if they're asking for personal information. Legitimate companies will never ask for sensitive data over email or text. Second, pay close attention to the sender's address and website URLs. Look for misspellings, grammatical errors, or anything else that seems off. Third, never click on links or download attachments from unknown senders. It's like opening a mystery box filled with digital vipers. You never know what you're going to get, but it's probably not going to be good. And finally, if you're ever unsure about the legitimacy of an email, message, or text, don't hesitate to contact the company directly using their official contact information. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Remember, phishing scams are all about deception. They're designed to trick you into letting your guard down so they can steal your information and disappear into the digital ether. But by staying vigilant and using your common sense, you can avoid becoming another victim of these digital pirates. So, there you have it, a crash course in the dark arts of credit repair scams. We've covered everything from advance fee scams to phishing expeditions, and hopefully, you've learned a thing or two about how to protect yourself from these financial predators. The credit repair industry can be a minefield of misinformation and outright deception. It's enough to make you want to swear off credit altogether and live a life of blissful, debt-free solitude in a yurt made of old credit card statements. But don't despair. There are legitimate ways to improve your credit score. It takes time, it takes effort, and it definitely doesn't involve paying someone a small fortune to make your financial problems magically disappear. Remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Stay vigilant and do your research before engaging with any credit repair service. And if you do decide to seek professional help, make sure you're dealing with a reputable company that's upfront about its fees and services. Because when it comes to your credit score, the only person you should trust is yourself. and maybe a qualified financial advisor, but definitely not a company that promises to erase your financial sins for the low, low price of your dignity and your life savings.